Good evening, fellow Ambazonians. Una good evening for all una, and good evening to friends of Ambazonians. Today I'm going to talk for una as for most often what they do and for this platform. Would they address what people them one can get this conversation with all una now for pidgin. So una welcome, una good evening. We'll start for exactly 1 minute. All right. All right. So, fellow people, then, una welcome for all man. I hope say I hope say all man they fine. I hope say all una they fine. I hope say the things that una they do whether it be a student, whether you get a small business or you get some work for do I hope say things that you work are fine, even though we there for conditions of war. So I hope say una they take good care of ourselves for the current situation where all we find ourselves there, we were people that find themselves there. I hope say every person it do a very best for those conditions. Today, we're at the last day for the month of August for this 2021. I don't come today as press secretary for the Executive Office or Governing Council of Ambazonia. I don't can give una I want can give una the updates, the things that already happened for the Ambazonia versus La République du Cameroon conflict. I want can give una updates and then I'll give una key analysis for key and core issues. But I want to apologize for one thing though. My system, it need to upload some of my videos and my pictures. So some videos then we'll want to use them for interactive purposes so that we'll make the presentation more interactive. I know we'll be able for do them, but I will get able for use the Bluetooth speaker with it for you and then play some of the short video clips that we're supposed to play for now. So instead, here na the audios. All right. So all man it plays day when I come fine, when I come well. Make we start with the message where it come out over the weekend. Over the weekend, the Governing Council of Ambazonia, when at the leading movement, we did lead the liberation of Ambazonia in terms of leadership, in terms of strategy. We talk about defense strategy, diplomatic strategy, and for stand as the vanguard organization, where the goal now for protect the interests and the aspiration of the Ambazonian people them from any other group, regardless of their political interest. For make sure say anything where any other organization it do that thing it must work now for the interest and the aspirations for meet the interest and the aspirations of the government of the Ambazonian people then. So when they talk say the egg of sea na a vanguard you dey like watchman. Now you dey protect all thing. You dey protect picking them, you protect house, you protect the compound. So egg of sea as a vanguard movement, not been only for champion the independence of Ambazonia, because now the only reason now they create the egg of sea. Now for lead the liberation of the Ambazonian people then. Secondly, it be a vanguard because we know say the Cameroon colonial state, when the people they rise up like this, as the Ambazonian people don't do, the colonial state it go recruit its own agents for make the staff for counter a lot of the things them, for make the staff for push other agendas, for make the staff for bring other messages So it could be like saying a confusion there. So the goal of the leading movement, the goal of the vanguard, now for make sure say no matter any movement where it claims it speak for Ambazonia, now for make sure say they create a system where they protect the integrity of the Ambazonian people, them. They protect the aspirations, the hopes, the dreams, and which the people that they fight for. So that any other movement in action, it must only go now towards the independence and the liberation of Ambazonia. Now it's they call say vanguard. So not be now only for just for fight, but now for make sure say the work with other people that they do them, the talk with other people that they talk them, it be consistent with the aspirations of our people then. So over the weekend, the Governing Council of Ambazonia, under the leadership of Dr. Ibacho, they get their monthly fundraising. The leader don't promise we, say every month, Ambazonian people them for diaspora, just like what people them for ground zero, that is sacrifice every week, every Monday, the entire ground zero, it is sacrifice for the liberation, for the collective resistance and the collective liberation of homeland. Every month, the people them for diaspora, them together for gather, for raise money for the defense of homeland, for the liberation of homeland. So over the weekend, the Governing Council of Ambazonia, they beget their monthly fundraising. Thanks to the Governing Council of Ambazonia US Mission, and thanks to the leadership of Mami Woli, they will be able to mobilize Ambazonians for United States and mobilize through the AGOVC US Mission. And I believe that fundraising, so they get a very successful fundraising for the defense of homeland, for equip our forces them for continue, for put the arms resistance on the ground, for give the Ambazonian people them the breakthrough where they need them for their liberation. So during that fundraising, the leader Bibide, Dr. Ibacho, for address the Ambazonian people them, tell we place where things are there, and tell we place where things are they go, and what you would expect them from the international community and within Cameroon. All right? So leadership, they give we some understanding of key indicators, which are things that they now, and what you need for expect them, and then what the Ambazonian people them they need for do them for the current situation where they for push things forward. I for bring another video, but as I explained, I'm saying my video system for upload the video need work. Make a play now the audio clip from Dr. Ibacho, he address during this weekend.
Power on.
The fundraising we just passed over the weekend. Make a play now.
Bluetooth connected
through the. I'll play them through audio instead.
Now, I want to talk about a series of issues as we fight to defend our homeland and to expel La République du Cameroon. It is important for leadership to constantly brief the Ambazonian people on where we are and what we need to do. I know sometimes we watch a liberation struggle like a movie. It is sporadic. It's almost like dotted. There are actions here and there. There are diplomatic utterances here and there. How do those things translate into your freedom? It is critical, as I always tell commanders, when you undertake a military action, the role of leadership is to translate the outcome of that action into political capital that fosters our independence outcome. And so this is the role of leadership, which functions like an architect in the construction of buildings. It is very critical that our people understand that we have reached a level in our struggle which is almost irreversible. And by this I mean it is very difficult or nearly impossible for the status quo that existed or the state of affairs that existed to be restored. That means it is nearly impossible to restore the state of Cameroon with Ambazonia as a political governing entity within Cameroon.
We apologize. We got some calls that would be a call be coming and interrupt our messaging. So now excuse we.
I want to talk about a series of issues. How do those things translate into your freedom? It is critical, as I always tell commanders, when you undertake a military action, the role of leadership is to translate the outcome of that action into political capital that fosters our independence outcome. And so this is the role of leadership, which functions like an architect in the construction of buildings. It is very critical that our people understand that we have reached a level in our struggle which is almost irreversible. And by this I mean it is very difficult or nearly impossible for the status quo that existed or the state of affairs that existed to be restored. That means it is nearly impossible to restore the state of Cameroon with Ambazonia as a politically governing entity within Cameroon. It's impossible. So what we need to do at this particular moment is to think seriously on a couple of options. And I will highlight one. One option which is being peddled constantly is that being peddled by the international system and the enablers in our country. What they are telling us is, now we understand through your effort that there is a problem, and we understand through your sacrifices that Cameroon as designed in 1961 can no longer exist. But we think the best option for you is to reintegrate yourself within Cameroon. That is an external approach being pushed down to us. And Cameroon has basically argued that the design made in 1961 is what is going to exist and there will be no alteration. The second option that we Amazonians are arguing is that you cannot restore Cameroon as it was before. And for Cameroon to even survive as a state, it needs to get out of Ambazonia. But how does Cameroon get out of Ambazonia?
How does Cameroon get out of Ambazonia? Now the question that way the leader ask him, now the question that way I don't come today for provide clarity and provide answers to the Ambazonian people then. Before we go for the leader, he don't tell all we. Say the current state of our resistance, no man of it change them again. Wait till they be call and say Cameroon. Wait till they be call and say Cameroon. Where it be also be, they be also add part of Ambazonia, they be also add Ambazonia for call and say Cameroon. That one, it need to exist again. According to the nature of our liberation right now. So the defeat of Cameroon for Ambazonia, it be real. And the international system, It don't recognize. Say Cameroon don't be defeated for Ambazonia. The Biya strategy, the Biya military strategy, it don't fail. The Biya diplomatic strategy, it don't fail. Biya began at 3 strategies. A military strategy, a diplomatic strategy, it don't fail. There's a third strategy I will explain for now after. So the first 2 strategies, they don't fail. Now Cameroon don't be defeated. But the international system for maintain their interest with all them that they gain them from Ambazonia, for maintain their natural resources interest, their economic interest, for the cheap natural resources the way that they get them, for their multinational companies, for them for maintain them, they push and say, okay, we recognize it, they say, the way they be set up Cameroon Ambazonia relationship for 1961, that foundation not be hold anymore. And therefore the state of Cameroon, as it be designed for 1961, enough it exist again and enough it go into the future. So that they acknowledge that one, right? But the second thing where Cameroon they tell them and say, okay, yes, when I don't acknowledge say the design of Cameroon and Ambazonia for 1961, enough it really hold things anymore, enough it be together anymore. But Cameroon they talk say, that design for 1961, now for that design we would stand for day. No matter how things are day. Now for that design we would stand. We will still stand for one and indivisible Cameroon. We no one make una talk say na 2 Cameroon day. Now Cameroon your own logic this to the international system. Cameroon the talk say we will no one make una talk say na 2 Cameroons it be. We want make una only talk say na 1 Cameroon be there. And any solution where it get for calm, it get for calm, now for maintain a form of 1 Cameroon. If una do that one, we go accept them. Now the logic of Cameroon this. Cameroon don't accept the defeat, but they want maintain any form of intervention, any form of negotiation, any form of mediation, any form of dialogue. Then they go only accept them if it get a promise for maintain some form of 1 Cameroon, for soften the Ambazonian people them, give them certain things and where they think say matter for them, but they must maintain 1 Cameroon. Now the Biya formula that. So when we hear the leader, they can't tell we say, so now 2 conflicts the day. There is a conflict within the conflict. The conflict within the conflict, I say, Cameroon don't be defeated. But Cameroon no one accept openly that defeat. The international system don't accept, say Cameroon don't be defeated. And the 1961 foundation not hold anymore. Then the conflict within the conflict, all right? Now say, okay, Cameroon don't be defeated. But make we see how we make una happy for a new design of some Cameroon. Now the conflict that within the conflict. And now the trap this way Ambazonia they find themselves inside right now. But there is a way we will break through this diplomatic how do they call them? For this diplomatic standstill. There is a way we will break through. And now the leader, Dr. Eba, it be the prescriber for we. Cameroon get a specific stand where the international community they strive for support a new arrangement where the film make them. But the Biya own stand, it be contrary to what the international system that they still push on because Biya believe. I'm gonna tell you now. One of the reasons where poor Biya no one publicly and openly acknowledge say Ambazonia they don't defeat Cameroon on the battlefield. Now because as a dictator, when he come for outside can't talk say they say he don't lost the war. That means he don't lost everything where he be as a man where he show himself be very powerful. So the arrogance, even in the face of defeat, it make them they still take a hardline position. Not because it make any logical sense or it get any scientific backing for give them a headway, but not just because when they accept them, it means say Biya as a president, as a tough man. It means say he don't fail. Now so he think. So Biya is stubbornness, not just for preserve who Biya be as a person with a tough identity and as a man who believes in a power for solve this problem militarily. So now the palaver that way Biya they insight. The defeat be real. But there is a way where the Ambazonia people go push Biya and he must accept that defeat publicly. Now, for Biya for counter this defeat, he got for use a third strategy. Number one strategy being a military option. They must defeat Ambazonia for battlefield within a short period of time. That one failed. Second strategy, it being a diplomatic option. For buy countries like England and give them very cheap deals. Like when I see what they do, they make that oil rig for the gas or for the gas exploration. They give them for that deal for about 1.8 or $2 billion. Now the deal will be worth about 10 billion. But they give them very cheap, so they buy their conscience, all right, through money, all right. That's so diplomacy work. Now the same thing that they do with the US, now the same thing that they do with France, now the same thing that they do with many other countries, now the same thing that they do with China. They use the natural resources for buy this country then, so that make them continue for support Cameroon in order for those countries for continue for get the economic benefit where they get them for free from Ambazonian resources. So the third strategy where Biya Buan use them. The diplomatic strategy, it failed because of the armed resistance. The armed resistance get to a point where no matter how much the diplomatic closed door they be put on for Ambazonia, but the armed resistance on the ground, it give the Ambazonian people them such an opportunity where the world not deny them anymore. The world not ignore them anymore. Now the world got for talk for them. Now the world got for engage them until we become an international contender through the self-defense on the ground and the targeted diplomacy. We become now a party to the conflict at the international stage. Doors they open because of the armed resistance on the ground, the guns on the ground, the defense strategy on the ground. It killed Biya a diplomatic initiative. Biya even hired four firms, 4 PR firms, for cover up the number of people they don't kill in Ambazonia. And for limit the number to only 3,000. That's why for a long time, when I hear all these groups, where they call it, some of them are international crisis group, they go only talk saying only 3,000 people don't kill them. Because if they move the number from 3 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 10,000 to 15,000, the action, the intervention from the international system will be immediate. So they go for whitewash the number of people they don't kill them, for limit them to a very minimal number where it no go cause the international system for be very concerned. But from all estimates on the ground, from experts, the number of Ambazonians where they don't kill them, now between 15 to 30,000 Ambazonians where they don't kill them on the ground. But even till today, they still maintain that number 3,000 people. Now only through the Canadian House of Commons briefing or through the Canadian House of Commons deliberation. Now only for they move the number from the previous 3,000 people to 6,400. So according to the the Canadian House of Commons report, now 6,400 Ambazonians don't be killed. Now the highest international report that where it don't ever be published by a reputable world institution, the Canada House of Parliament. For the committee will be responsible for the hearing of the conflict between Ambazonia and Cameroon. All right, for the Foreign Affairs Committee. Now for they publish that number for the new findings. All right, those one are the diplomatic number than that. The facts on the ground, now between 15 and 30,000 Ambazonians, they don't be killed for this conflict. So, what if Biya Buan do? Once you know say military strategy don't fail, a diplomatic strategy don't fail, he moved to the third option. The third option be for bribery. For do what they do and for Cameroon. For identify Ambazonian leaders with they be corruptible, with they be jobless, they be poor, they be lazy, and activists will be very hungry. For bribe them. The first set of activists will bribe them. Now people them like Yannick Sikot, they just give them small money, may they get out. I think they give them about $12,000 if I'm not mistaken. And other one them. From Yannick Sikot them, they be already infiltrate through people them like Dr. Nick Santos for Sakoi IG. They be already take over the system. And by that system, they take the splinter IG group, they turn them into a CPDM subsection for Maryland. And Dr. Nick Santos, when IBB Sako, a top advisor, one of a top policy advisor, one of a key person, when IBB the face of Sakoi administration, and in so funcha, when IBB Sako a chief of defense. Now IBB the person will be Sako a chief of defense for the ASC. La Republique buy them with $40,000 each. Not to talk of people them like Sako and Chris Anu. We all want to know the story. So the third Biya strategy. Now for buy Ambazonian leaders, buy key Ambazonian activists, may they stop or may they join near the liberation from inside. So that's why when I see all these things the way this splinter IG group they do them, will they be totally anti-revolutionary? All now part of the bribery that we they must act on. And from all evidence, we will not know. They catch Chris Anoyi and his sister for ground with a lot of money, and that's why they be carried and go lock them. Because the money be being a part of the guarantor, the guarantee. Say Chris Anu must carry out certain specific public actions. He reach a level where he not be fit for carry him out, and he get for sacrificing mommy and his sister. And eventually the government be so angry, they get for go pick them up and then take all the money back. Someone understand what did happen within a revolution. Now the third Biya strategy that. Alright? When I don't see some other Ambazonian activists, then when they be very vocal, they immediately change. They only start to attack one leader after the next. And then finally, they give up the revolution. Now part of the bribery that. Now the bribery take them out of the liberation. And then they go start small business then. Alright? The one where they call themselves say then they be the king of activists. When I need hear them again, they don't buy them, silence them. And some of them, they only talk now for Twitter. Now, all part of the bribery scheme that within the Biya system. I hope say this one, they really help now for understand what they go on. So every time when I see Ambazonian activists, they carry out anti-revolutionary activities. Instead of educating the Ambazonian people, they cause na infighting.
Power off.
Instead of giving hope to ground zero, they give na instructions for kill certain fighters. Make una the Biya bribery strategy that. When una see those things, the more no say they say na $2,000, $1,000, $500, sometimes na $5,000. It don't do work for some person in head. It make them they can't spew that garbage for outside. All right. So, na part of that strategy, it worked for a lot of leaders then, including people them like Elvis Kumeta, where we see we can publish pictures them, where Yi and Abdul Karim they be get a mission for go for Nigeria and for go join the Cameroon delegation where be supposed to come for Nigeria for can carry refugees them go. All right, we can't expose them, Elvis Kumeta run and will post a picture with it for Cotonou, it chop goat head for small corner restaurant. He expose them, all them they run. Now for them now they run now, all them they go join the CPDM Splinter IG group. And when I see what they do as how they rush, they go for which Cameroon already set them up through the HD. And they start for dance the Bafia dance. That strategy too can fail. It can't fail because the egg of C, as the vanguard revolution, is stand on principle of truth. Say the Ambazonian people, they no go commit for anything until it meet international standard, until it be transparent. Ambazonia they commit for waiting. Waiting then they go commit for. Why not be transparent? Why, if the process be credible, why they not can tell the Ambazonian people them? Say now the thing this one go engage in, now the thing this one go do am. Why they go do am for back? But they only can leak now for the public. So when they come up for can't try that nonsense with the governing council of Ambazonia and the leadership, they can meet the finest group of people, of men and women, incorruptible. You know if you corrupt them with position for Cameroon, you know if you corrupt them with money, you know if you corrupt them with sweet talk. Now for they all things can fall. Now for they Chris Anu and Sako, they go crazy. Because it can't be against their game. For take Ambazonia them, give them back to la Republic. Through this process with the international system, they talk say, all right, when I don't defeat Cameroon, but we will find a way for reintegrate una for a new setup or one maker. Now the thing that till today. Now one of the reason, all this bribery, this Biya strategy of bribery and corruption. Now part of the reason where Sarkozy and Chris Anu, they take Ayoktabe where they inherit the IG. They want poisoning for killing for prison. As in they talk for outside. Say the best way for doing for kill Ayok for prison. Now the same reason where they can, through that bribery and corruption, it force Sarkozy and Chris Anu for can denounce a person who create their own organization where they inherit them. They not only denounce it, but they impeach it publicly because of the pressure from Cameroon for do those things, for cause such hate and infighting within Ambazonia, and it make the people to go give up. The people to go say, now wait to this. Why these people do not work together? So they give now all this background for understand the Biya strategy, for use bribery as the last option for weaken Ambazonia from inside, so that the liberation it could be na something where no noble, no sensible, intelligent Ambazonia won't be part of. And that's why when I see people them like Sako and Chris Anu, they bring all kind low-level people them with their goal now for just crush people them, talk to me the key fighters, may they rape women, may they burn people their house, may they do this, may they lock down for indefinite lockdown, may they lock down this road indefinitely, may they lock that village indefinitely. If they catch you, you violate ghost town, may they just shoot you, may they just kill you. And they bring all these kind of people them, can begin to put all this kind of message outside, all now part of the Biya strategy of bribery and corruption for weakening the revolution from inside, for making me be na something way now say the revolution not be na something for petty criminals, not be an ideology of noble men and women where they stand for the dignity of the Ambazonian people them, for fight for end their suffering, their pain, and their poverty and the occupation. But they don't come be na something way, you know, na stupid people that they participate. Stupid people them, they go bring small criminals them like, you know, like JK for bespoke people them. They go bring the one way, a whole spokesman, saying a defense spokesman. He go cover a face, he tie a head. And the one can talk with people them. They call it Willy Willy on Awechi. And then they call it Akriba. Now those kind of people, they take and put them for fraud. For give the wrong impression to the Ambazonian people. So be a people of low morals. For give bad image and bad impression. So that our people no go believe anymore. Because our people go say, now the kind of people in that way, they fight for independence. I beg charmy or people that they push very very vicious policies and things that would be against humanity and against our own people, their dignity. So that it go just discourage our people them. Discourage ground zero. All those things that can't fail because noble men and women, the leaders stand up for show the finest we will be as a people. The finest in terms of intellect, in terms of presentation, in terms of logic, in terms of language, in terms of character. The Vice President, Dr. Julius Nye, he show up with virtues of character, integrity, honesty, truthfulness, a value of their lives of the Ambazonian people. They stand up for defend things based on truth. The Ambazonia identity based on truth, based on international law. We get Secretary of State like Dr. Larry Ayamba. We get good heart women them like Comrade Cecilia Mabo, Mami Wally, woman of God, Comrade Abu, or Dr. Abu Frey as they call it now, Nana doctor. All these quality women and men, they stand up for project a different Ambazonia. They stand up for project a noble Ambazonia. And you get big brothers them like Sheikh Kavi. They stand up for teach you what it mean for be a fighter. What it mean for be committed. They be incorruptible. You get people them like Benedictwa. They stand for defend the Ambazonian people. And then you get, Capo Daniel, Ambazonia FBI, Mr. Sense Pass King Lukon, my own countryman. He come for be the truth teller to the Ambazonian people. Mr. No Connie, the man of the No Connie talk show. He stand every day for tell the Ambazonian people them the truth, no matter what. You get the Villa Franklins. They show up for stand for Ambazonia. You get the Erica Zara. You get the Mamibi. You get thousands of people the way we don't even know their names. We don't even know their faces. They stand up for project a different Ambazonia. Then you get the people of the coalition for negotiation and dialogue. They stand up for project a different Ambazonia of noble men and women. Because the whole essence of the bribery and corruption strategy of Mr. Biya, now for make people them like Samuel Sako and Chris Anu the face of the resistance so that it becomes a mockery. And at the whole essence, the catcher you go put them for jail. So that they will put people them where they will become like laughing stock. They will become like comedians. People they will put them in front TV, you ask them a question, nothing answer them. They nothing look you for eye. They want talk, when they want talk, they would go now. So that Ambazonians They know get a sense of direction. They know if it give the people, they know if it propose to the people any sensible thing, if it give them hope. And that's why they did launch campaign like the assassination of generals. They did target top commanders and generals, expose their names, expose their faces, expose their locations, and start to accuse them for no reason, so that Cameroon will take them out and kill the resistance on the ground. Now the thing that the Biya corruption and bribery strategy one do and for Ambazonia people them. So when I get to understand the game, now a game, if you don't understand them, you go fall for it. And if you fall for it, they are fault. Because you get it right for no. And if you don't know, they are fault. Alright? So the gift now all these things more now understand how things that work. And who's would they? So who's would they? The Biya corruption strategy fail. Even when they bring Akwanga, add the inside Sakwe group. Bring Abdul Karim, add the inside. Bring Elvis Kumeta, add the inside. Bring Bo Hebert, add the inside. Bring small goats group them at the inside. The Biya strategy still fail because of the uprightness. People like we show up for provide leadership. For give a new sense of direction. For give a new sense of presentation. For give a new sense of presentation and how an activist get for be and define who be an activist. Who lay down principles of truth and effective communication. Who lay down principles of commitment for defend the prisoners, the refugees, and our fighters on the ground. We lay down principles on how we must operate and a code of conduct for ourselves out here so that it get an effect on the ground for give our people a new level of hope. So we stand firm. So the progress we don't make them. It killed Biya in 3 strategies. And as a result, Cameroon don't be totally defeated for Ambazonia because of the brilliance of committed Ambazonians. Where they stand unwaveringly. They stand with total determination and focus. All. Nothing succeed for this world without leadership. No people create progress if they not get an effective leader. Nothing move forward if a people not get leadership. Ambazonian liberation for them be history. If Dr. Abacho not for day, if the governing council of Ambazonia not for day, Ambazonia liberation for them be history. For them be history a long time ago. We'll be a fortunate people. The forces on the ground, the men and women, where they stand for defend the independence and the sovereignty of Ambazonia. The one where they be incorruptible. The combination of the forces on the ground and the political leadership outside here. Now I keep we standing. And I don't give the Ambazonian people them the success where they get them today. And that's something where everybody get for take pride. The fastest liberation struggle in the history of mankind. For how far we don't come for a short period of time as a people. Defeat a whole country will be backed by the international system. You knock them down for 4 years. And the international system, they look you say, wow, what a new generation of people. So that's why I will not be a cheap generation. So as a leader talking, now when for the place day, wait to be next for Cameroon. Wait to be next for Cameroon. Now only one thing where the Ambazonia people need to do. For place where they moving forward, forget Cameroon, for either choose for save themselves from total humiliation on the battlefield. Certain actions get the day we will get for taken for either force Cameroon for commit to a credible international negotiation, or we take those actions for finally get them off the battlefield. Now, two actions we need for taken. Number one, the policy where the egg of seed don't lay them out for February, when they launch the stabilization forces, as will be explained for the Ambazonian people. The only reason where Cameroon occupy Ambazonia for 1961 is because Pa Foncha did not be built an army for defend Ambazonia institutions. The lead Ambazonian leaders for 1961, before they want to talk anything of the union with La République, they not be build a military for defend Ambazonia institutions and defend Ambazonian leaders. Every other country before independence, including La République, the first thing what they do is for build an army. Now only leaders of Ambazonia, they want to go discuss independence and possible union with Cameroon. Now them be the only country, the only leaders where they not build an army for defend their people and for defend their own institutions. So now you create a country and you want to go unite, you want to go enter into a union with another country. It already build an army, it already build a police force, it already build a gendarme force, it already build a secret intelligence force. What do you think is going to happen? Now the thing that La République du Cameroun just rush, take over Ambazonia. The process for the union treaty it not be ever be set up and it not be complete, because why Cameroon get for go enter into a legal binding union with Ambazonia, where if it take the army just occupy Ambazonia and take over Ambazonia? If now you for go enter into a legal binding agreement, will be ratified by your own parliament and their own parliament, and then finally by the federal parliament where they set them up, and you forget terms so that when you violate them they hold you responsible, or you just roll your army and your police and your gendarme and you take over the people then, and Cameroon take the easy option. Cameroon said, I beg. Cameroon roll all the army, police and gendarme, take over Ambazonia. And the owner, how you go fight back? You not get anything. So the concept of the stabilization force, now for start, for build the defense infrastructure of Ambazonia. When I listen very carefully. The concept of the stabilization forces of the ADF, now for start for build the first professionally trained military for defend the current and future institutions of Ambazonia. If you not do them, you go still fall back for the same mistakes of 1961. You defeat Cameroon, you create a gap. That gap must be filled. If you not fill that gap, they go so send a Cameroon forces, but they can't fill that gap because people, they need protection, the environment needs security, and it needs stability, and it needs peace. So if you talk say I want fight Cameroon for gain my own freedom and independence, but you need to build alternative systems for fill in the gap will be occupied by the occupier. then you not be serious. You understand now, right? Now today, Dr. Ibakan launched the stabilization forces as the first step for start the process of reclaiming Ambazonia and projecting Ambazonia. Because all the block by block forces, they will continue for do the fighting. The armed resistance, they will continue for make the territory ungovernable, chase out like the public police army and their colonial administrators. But the second step, now forget a professionally trained military, we go start for defend Ambazonian institutions. Start for project that force as an alternative to Cameroon police, Cameroon gendarme, Cameroon B, and Cameroon army. As an alternative. You must create an empowering alternative to the occupying force. Cameroon is a destructive country. So if you take them off, a negative system, but the world will depend upon them for provide peace, security, and stability for the territory of Ambazonia. So if you displace them and you did knock them off, then you must put in the positive alternative systems and infrastructure for the world now for depend on you as the new guarantor of peace, security, and stability, as the new authority. So now the leadership this way, the governing council of Ambazonia, it provide them for the Ambazonian people. There is no other movement with all these empty heads and noisemakers out here. Nobody. It don't fit for offer the Ambazonian people them anything else other than for continue for preach the gospel of Dr. Iba, making the territory ungovernable by just providing boys then, men and women, with fighting support materials. There is no other group where it don't offer anything else, where if it define the future and start for protect that future now for Ambazonia people. That's why the actions of most groups, they be very agitative. They not get a game plan. There is no group we can offer the Ambazonian people them a clear vision of what the future will be like. How the people they will be protected. There's none. Zero. But they want independence. But they want the liberation of Ambazonia. Including the one where I say the running mob makes much more audios. And I don't want to call his name. Because he don't reach a level we not deserve for even calling him anymore. He did run him up. He don't come up from being an Ambazonian liberation revolutionary leader for 2017 where all my respect he. To person where the Biya strategy of bribery and corruption don't chop it all. Now the only fight for a small belly for survivor. Don't come up from a promising leader to a person who don't be in a one-man show. And I need to call yourself a leader. The next time I go handle it very well, I go do an elaborate presentation and I go handle it from A to Z and give the psychological presentation on the Ambazonian people then. But for today, I want just drop this small message, making us say, as to the listen and as to the watch. And if they push the button, I don't tell all them. If they push the button, we will take every person and x-ray. But so far, we don't need for the response for all this kind. People with their own loss. They want just, if we respond for them, then we'll give them their significance. And we'll give them some small relevance. None of them don't offer the Ambazonian people them anything. Other than small money where they go take them for Swiss HD, run around. And they think say, you're going to be leader. Leader, you the lead now. Forces on the ground, you not get them. Movement, you not get them. A whole person will call himself say be a leader. But you not even get a team of 2 people them. You not even get a team of 2. Not even 2 people them. They surround me for the organization where they did. But he can't call himself a leader. He the lead now. You never fit for lead yourself. Because even your communication, it shows enough you lead yourself. So now we the leader. Secretary for your organization, no man no no. Vice president for your organization, no man no no. Your forces them for ground. You don't carry them all, sell them for HD. So, moon understand place who they. All these people they run their mob, including the people of Southern Cameroon International Town Hall. Those federalists, excuse me, those federalists where they go hide for Yoktabe IG. Those federalists where they go hide for Yoktabe IG. I hear the other day Dr. Fontem Neba. He go sit down for chat group. He fight Dr. Ayaba. And you ask yourself, when he leave ground zero, he and Bala, when I know what happened, they sign agreement for prison. Say they no go support anything independence. And Bala become very honest. Now one thing that I respect Bala, he maintain honesty with the agreement we sign our Cameroon government before they move you for prison. He maintain honesty. And he's still on his lane. Fontem come out, he come for outside here. Me think say, would he keep records? What be the first thing we tell the Ambazonia people then? He tell the Ambazonia people say, the diplomatic corps for Yaoundé, he don't send him, he come for America, can gather all Ambazonians because they plan for call for a referendum for the territory. That's so Fontem tell the Ambazonian people then. So that's why he come for America. For bring all Ambazonians and the leaders them together. Because the diplomatic community for Yaoundé, they plan for organize a referendum for ground zero. So it bring Ambazonians them through this conning together and they create what they call and say SCLC. Now that organization, it finally become what Sako take them over and Sako create what they call and say ACT Act. Now that organization end up for Switzerland. Now that organization end up with the Swiss HD. So, when people like Fontem Neba, they can't lie Ambazonians them, and then take Ambazonians them, sell them to a specific direction, and then necessarily they go shit on for back. When the time don't come, when they don't lost all their credibility, they go only find a new voice. And for inside Ambazonia Liberation today, any person we want make people to listen for you, all you got to do just call Dr. by name. You want Ambazonia to listen for you? Call her by name. All these people, where they run a one-man organization. These federalist, embedded CPDM people them and SDF for reduce the Ambazonian people them to a people of argument without any sense of direction. We now ask ourselves, now which strategy Fontem Neba can provide them for the Ambazonian people them? None. Which roadmap? Which idea? First of all, now people they say they never touch gun. They never did them for gun. This one not a war. When I go back, go ask yourself. I don't always ask this question. When I call it, the one they call it Comrade Yerima for we take over Ayoktabe IG. Since it take over Ayoktabe IG till today, till today. Una go ask ye, and you ask yourself, now wait till that organization through Yerima, it don't offer them for the Ambazonian people then. Una name one thing, one. We Yerima, it calls as a leader, the vice, the VP of IGK. Una name one thing, one policy where you don't propose them and he actualize them for the Ambazonian people. Then una name one. You know fit. You know fit call gun. They call it a big rubber gun. I get plenty of things for talk, but I will leave them or talk one day for all now. All the money where they raise them for outside here, including the money where the Southern Cameroon International Town Hall that they use AMF for raise them. That money need to go now for buy guns. That money they end up for the government for Kondengi. I go can't talk. I go do a whole presentation. I go tell you now all. So not be now for save the revolution, but now for preserve certain people them, for set them up as the future administrators of Ambazonia. Una not leave them. Una not try we. We don't tell una not try we. We know the small corny game they una the player. So all these games against Ayaba, now for make sure say they find a way for disgrace. If una see them, it come up from Sako their own side, and it also come up from these groups them, like Southern Cameroon International Town Hall. Now a double conspiracy within the same organization where they call and say IG. One they come out for Kondengi IG, the other one they come out for the CPDM Sakoi IG. Do the same thing. They name Ayaba every day. But if you look the people them, they never ever propose anything to the Ambazonian people. They don't get a liberation strategy. They don't get a defense strategy. They don't get a diplomatic strategy. And there is no action they don't take up. It don't move the Ambazonian people then forward. When I action ourselves, since Yerima come, it take over IG care. When I name one thing, where Yerima, it don't propose them a project where it propose them, it actualize them, it achieve them for the Ambazonian people then. When I name them. When they launch Big Rubber Gun 1, who's had the money day? Who's had the result day? Who's had the forces the day? Who's had the guns the day? When they launch Big Rubber Gun 2, who's had the money day? Who's had the forces the day? Who's had it? You did launch defense project, but you not get a force when they are on force. But you be a liberation movement. They go fight now already established forces them. For use those leaders and for jail. For start for buy the loyalties of those forces. With a small money they raise them from outside there. I go do a whole presentation on this for now. So now the whole system this where they kill the Ambazonian people then. When you get movements and people they call themselves leaders, but they don't get anything where they offer people. So how you go manage liberate the people and you not get anything with the offer them? Just like they can't declare independence. Declaration of independence, now all that. It ends for day. There is nothing else after that. They leave the people them for eternal confusion. What's next? Their next move, it be being for go hire lawyers. So you declare independence from an occupier for your people then. You go now for America, you go hire a law firm for America. May go fight for the independence for you. Oh, black man. So Ambazonians, we don't mind all this noise where these guys that run from outside here. We don't mind the noise. The noise. I be very open for which I don't talk today. For Shidon with Chris Anu one-on-one. debate anything I don't talk for here today. I be very open for Shidon with Yerima one-on-one, debate anything I don't talk for here today. I be very open for Shidon with Fontaine Neba and debate anything I don't talk for here today. Even the people for Southern Cameroon International Town Hall, I be open at any time for debate the facts at any time for anything I don't talk for here today. I be open. You see, we must tell our people them the truth. And the truth is you, as an Ambazonia, you owe yourself. The only reason Ambazonia still be an occupied territory, now because the whole Ambazonia colonial elite, they be a group of liars. The occupation don't take away the dignity and character of all the men and women who they call them elites. They don't lie the people them from 1961 till now. Election one come, they go buy rice, they buy soap, they buy salt, they can't give, they make all kind of promises for the people them since 1961 till now. Election pass, they go can't rig the election, they run back, they go stay them for your own day. You go see them 4-5 years later. They'll come back with CPDM clothes. They'll come back with 10,000. They'll come back with 5,000. They'll come back with election money. And the Ambazonian people then, they continue to live in poverty because of this group of chronic liars. We Biya use them for keep the Ambazonian people occupied. See a whole John Frundi. And what the Ambazonian people sacrifice for you. You create a political party as an opposition political party, but you know if still stand on the truth. You know if still stand on the truth. For speak the truth of the nation. For speak the truth of the people. For speak the truth of the facts of how the two systems they come together. And whose side would they for place would they? You see, when a culture and a people they not fit stand on principles and for speak the truth, they no go ever get change. You know if you build progress based on lies. You know if you create change based on lies. You know if you create transformation based on lies. You know if you move a people forward based on lies. And that's why Cameroon be the way we be. So wait till they hold the Ambazonian people back. You get this group of people where they don't leave Ambazonia. They come for diaspora. But Ambazonia and the colonial system is still there inside them. They be made up of liars. They talk empty talk. They kill people for ground. Burn house them for ground. Cameroon, they rape our sisters, them rape our mommy them. Make our people them homeless. These people, they will can't play in politics instead of stand up for the dignity and the lives of their own people then. And you get people them like Fontaine, but they will run around for small WhatsApp group, they make noise. And you get people them for like Southern Cameroon International Town Hall, they run around every day, bring people them together, bring federalists, bring unionists, and they call themselves the Ambazonians. Continue for confuse our people them with messaging and their presentations. And they call themselves leaders. A leader without a singular ideology for which the people they want them. A leader with today, it discuss now need John Frundi on the solution for Ambazonia independence. And then the next day they go bring Namunzo. Make it can't help our Ambazonians the way forward. And they will tell when I say that they fight for our independence. And then they will tell when I say every person a voice count. No. Any person a voice not count. Voice count based on which the people they want them. Now, wetin Ambazonia they stand for one time. Wetin Ambazonia they rise up for. Now, Ambazonia aspiration count. It come first. The lives of our people them, the hopes of our people them, the demand of our people them. And if you not feel align yourself with the aspiration of the people them, get the hell out. Then go join Paul Biya. When I begin to talk on one Cameroon. As for Ambazonia, now Ambazonia, now the freedom, now the independence, and now the dignity of our people them, where they don't rise up for. So any movement, any person, we enough stand for speak the truth for the people them, and enough stand for advocate and defend the people them, where they face tyranny and terrorism, for their rights, for self-defense, and for protect their own lives. Then they play in a politics with your life. They not help you make you organize yourself on the ground through structured defense forces under total command and control. For start for create alternative institutions, for replace the occupiers' institutions. They play in a politics with your life. For Ambazonia for win, we as a people must reject empty politics and focus on the liberation strategy. Vision, roadmap and strategy, and execution. It will give our people the way they want them. When I go check, when I go do my own research, take Akwanga. Ask yourself, will it be the roadmap we offer them for the Ambazonian people? Will it be strategy for the liberation? And will it be a vision for Ambazonia? Go back since 2017. Go pull out Wusa Akwanga lay out the roadmap for Ambazonia and the leadership we present them for the people. Take the same thing. Take Bo Herbert. Take all these leaders them. Do your own research. You will come for the same conclusion. Now all empty talk. Now only one Ambazonian leader. It give Ambazonian people them a clear-cut roadmap, a clear-cut strategy as to which the people they could do for end Cameroon occupation and gain freedom. Now only one movement. Now the Governing Council of Ambazonia. Now only Dr. Ibacho. Till today, everything will happen for ground. It come now from that philosophy. Everything will happen for ground. It come now from that roadmap. It come now from that inspiration. It come now from that ideology. And now the reason this way they hate it. They not hate it because it be better than them. They be hate it because of uniqueness, because of pragmatism. Because they need to play the empty politics. We go keep the people them under occupation. He believe for hard work. He believes say what people go die, what people get for sacrifice, and if we pay the price through the structure, through the strategy, through the roadmap, making the territory ungovernable, increase the cost of occupation, stop economic exploitation, and make Cameroon become bankrupt politically, economically, and diplomatically. It will give you the ability for battle them block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, and build the capacity for start for takeover. And today, commanders on the ground they take over. Today, generals on the ground they take over. Today, soldiers on the ground they take over. Now leadership that. Now inspiration that. The future be guaranteed and be dependent on the people them where they know what they want, they focus on what they want, they pour their energy and resources on a credible leadership We give them vision and hope. And above all, it gives them a strategy and the ability for work hard for their own liberation. Because now the thing that we go need them for build a new nation. Cameroon, they suffer today because they get a useless moron. Since 1961, the country never offer a blueprint for development. Every day na empty politics for the benefit of the 1% at the detriment of 99%. And don't play this politics for 60 years. And the people not still get water for drink. People not get light. The whole place still be filled with mosquitoes and garbage. When I not fall for the trap of Cameroon. Follow intelligence. Follow vision. Follow people that stand on principles and character. Follow sound judgment. This advice, even for your life. You see, if you forget about the little noise people that they make up, and you make up your mind, my daughter say, if you go school, you only earn for O levels. Even if you didn't have 40 years old, you know, so you still get another 40 years ahead of you. You decide this today. Say you want to go back, go get your A levels. Even at the age of 40, it will take you 2 years. By at 42, you go get your A levels. By the time you want to reach 45, you don't already get a degree. So by the time you get 48 years old, you don't already get your master's degree. Your life will change. But you know it will change by noise. It will change by thinking, strategic thinking, and bold action. When you focus yourself exclusively for what you want them. If you use what I tell you now, apply them for any area of your life, and you will see an immediate dramatic change. So to the liberation of Ambazonia. Now, a strategy. That strategy don't create miracles. Don't defeat the Republic of Cameroon. Make them become bankrupt. Stop all the economic exploitation. Make all the colonial administrators they run that they go stand on for Yaoundé. Commanders that they take charge. Now the time for focus on the next step. For build the prototype institutions and the force we go protect those institutions. I'm going to talk this for today. As always, our goal is to inspire our people them. Our goal is to empower our people them. Our goal is to speak truth to power. For defend the aspirations, the hope, and the dreams of the Ambazonian people for a free homeland. We're not there enough for place people. We're not there enough for play politics with the lives of the Ambazonian people. The goal of leadership is for serve. The goal for leadership is for inspire the people them. For believe for their own potential and hard work. And through effective actions, we as a people will create miracles. And those miracles will create them today on the ground. Soldiers, they create them on the ground. Things that they happen. Diplomatic miracles that they happen. We get, at this stage, we're now at 80% chance for get a free homeland. We'll get to do that next step. I'll talk for now. Very soon again. Until then, when I get on myself a blessed evening at the end of the month I wish everybody a happy new month. We'll start tomorrow. And which I wish for you above all else. Now change. Abandon politics and stand for action. Abandon empty talk. Follow leadership. Abandon noisemakers and commit yourself for the people then. When I get a blessed night, as always, we love una plenty. Una take care. Good night.